Here we have the TT-303, which is a TB-303 clone, and we can hear what it's doing there. Play around with the very simple set of controls, push up the resonance, with the envelope modulation, cut off frequency there as well. So we've got all those going. Let's just stop the sequencer for a moment, and we've plugged it into this distortion pedal, which is a clone of a rat distortion. And you can hear, if we can push that resonance up, you get that real much harsher edge there. It's that classic kind of acidic vibe, and it works very, very well. Especially when you play around with the controls on the 303. Great. So now, as if by magic, we're going to swap to the chunk pedal. Now this delivers a different kind of distortion. Perhaps doesn't work quite so well. As we turn up the gain there, you start to get a lot more noise in the background. It's less rounded, this. And what you'll find is lots of different distortions work in different ways. This is a blues pedal. If we A-B it, bring the volume up a little bit. Again, this has got a slightly different kind of flavour to it, which works pretty well as well. You can see by A-Bing it, the difference there. Just adding that little bit of cutting distortion into the sound. Very useful to have a distortion pedal if you're going to be looking at this kind of thing, and will work well with synth leads and things like that as well. So, now, once again, I'm going to magic this pedal here. This is the Ringworm. Lovely name for a pedal. This is by Way Huge, and this is a ring modulator. And you can hear these non-harmonically related frequencies coming through. In essence, it's got an oscillator inside, and this is ring modulated with the incoming audio, and it creates some and different frequencies from or of the two. If we blend it 50-50, we can add these other weird harmonic tones coming through. And change the frequency of that internal oscillator. Now, if I flick the width of that up, what it's doing, there's an LFO in there which is modulating the pitch. So you can hear that going up and down. It's modulating the pitch of the internal oscillator and the rung modulator. So it's going sweeping up and down. We have a sine wave. We have a triangle wave, square wave, which just flicks between two different frequencies. This setting here, which generates a number of different frequencies, it steps between a series of different frequencies. Then we have the envelope tracker, where the internal oscillator's pitch is determined by the amplitude of the incoming audio. And that's quite interesting, get some quite good effects with this one. And if you input some sort of less obvious 303 type lines in, you can also get some quite interesting metallic tones coming out. It can turn simple sine waves into bells and things like that as well. Right, another switch, and we're back here with the Pictronics Keymaster, which is a really useful interfacing box which allows you to have two separate guitar effects loops and connect to balanced sources, line level sources and so on. So we go out from the output into the input here and then back out to the sound card. We've got a couple of gain controls. We've got independent loops and a send and return for each. So this one, that we've got the Memory Boy Deluxe on the send and return A. And we can dial in some delay there. And this is a Bucket Brigade delay line. Uses a series of capacitors on a chip, passing the charge from one to the next to create the delay. Very lo-fi. We've got a blend control here for mixing between the direct and affected and the delayed signal. Feedback there, returning the delay back into the input, and delay time. If we want some flanging effects, we have a short delay time, push the feedback up. Then we use the depth control and the rate control to control the LFO, which will modulate that delay time. Flanger being a bit like a chorus with the feedback pushed up. Go for a more chorus orientated sound. Short delay time, and we modulate that delay. Slightly faster rate, moderate depth. You can hear it basically adding a little bit of pitched, a repitched version of the original back in. That's just a lot of fun, sometimes just to play around with the delay time manually. Push the feedback up. And you get this sort of slightly glitchy craziness going on. You can see with the feedback pushed up, we can kind of play the feedback and the delay. There we go. So now what we're going to do, as if by magic, another cable in here, going from the CV out of the TB-303 or the TT-303 into the pedal input of the Memory Boy Deluxe. Push the delay up. And the expression pedal also receives CV information. So what it's doing is modulating the delay time based on the pitch output by the 303. We can also choose to have it modulate the feedback. Increasing the feedback as the pitch goes up. And also use it to control the rate and the depth of the LFO, the internal LFO here as well. And this control voltage can come from an external LFO or some other source as well. Or just a pedal if you wanted it to. It's quite nice having something that actually does some weird stuff based on what's already been playing. And now we can hear that feedback delay spinning off there. Now, if I click my fingers, we've now got a slightly different setup here where we've got the Strymon El Capistan, which is a digital effects pedal, but one with some very nice algorithms in there to emulate tape echo. And we place this on the main output from the keymaster, between the keymaster and the sound card. So we can still have our Memory Boy Deluxe. Doing some moderate craziness. And then we can route into the El Capistan. Let's hear a little bit more of what's going on there. We can increase the number of repeats. Change the delay time. Then we have tape age, which emulates as you'd expect, the aging of the tape in a tape loop. Older tapes would tend to be for more lo-fi, less top end certainly, and saturate somewhat more easily. We have wow and flutter, the slow and the moderate pitch changes that happen because of anomalies in the tape mechanism. And we have fixed head tape emulations and multi-head tape emulation, like the Roland Space Echo and things like that, which have multiple tape heads. And again, we can ride those delay times, which will actually change the pitch and create some interesting feedback effects. This kind of stuff works great if you just sort of jam it over a track. And you can spin it in when you need to create your own different kinds of effects and things like that. And there you have it.